Hello and welcome to Asia News Today. Quite a lot of varied news to get through today. Japanese authorities are targeting people using crypto as a loophole to exchange money in and out of Russia. COVID's still a problem in South Korea and China, but starting to wane in Hong Kong. And an Asian band will head up the lineup of artists at this year's Grammy Awards in the US, which goes to air next month. All that coming up in Asia News Today. Japanese authorities are ordering crypto exchanges not to process transactions involving any crypto assets as it maintains a stringent asset freeze against Russia over their invasion and ongoing war in Ukraine. The G7 announced on Friday that Western nations will impose costs on illicit Russian actors using digital assets to enhance and transfer their wealth. There are growing concerns that cryptocurrencies are being used to get around financial sanctions imposed on Russia. New guidelines have already been announced that require US-based crypto companies not to transact with any sanctioned targets. Now the Japanese government says it's strengthening measures against transferring any crypto assets that would violate the sanctions. So far, Japan has lagged behind a global shift among financial regulators to set stricter rules on private digital currencies. Coronavirus infections may still be in their thousands in China, but as of this morning, some 37 million residents in China were in lockdown. Well, that's the equivalent of nearly 3 Tokyos or 4 Bangkoks. The current outbreak has spread much faster than previous surges of the less infectious coronavirus variants, with daily cases now skyrocketing from a few dozen in February to more than 5,100 yesterday, but fewer reported today at 3,602. These are the highest figures since the original 2020 outbreak in Wuhan. The numbers might sound low compared to other countries, but it's a big blow for China's zero COVID policy. Cases have now been reported in 21 provinces and municipalities, including Beijing, Shanghai and Shenzhen. The Jilin province, which shares a border with North Korea, has become a major hotspot with a controversial university cluster that's prompted public outrage online after quarantined students complained of appalling conditions whilst isolating. More than 4,000 of yesterday's reported infections were reported in Jilin. Meanwhile, residents in Changchun, Jilin City, Shenzhen and Dongguan are banned from leaving their immediate neighbourhoods, except for essential workers and emergency services. Malaysia's air-vaccinated travel lanes with Singapore, Cambodia and Thailand will be standardised no matter which country you're arriving from. The standard operating procedures for the air VTLs will be uniform using the test and release protocol, much the same as Thailand's test and go. Travellers will no longer need to wait for their COVID test results within the terminal after they arrive. They'll be allowed to head off to their accommodations with private transport or taxis, but that accommodation will need to be declared on the My Sejahtera home surveillance order. Travellers will then have to self-isolate whilst waiting for their, hopefully, negative PCR result. The new protocol starts today and is in place for air arrivals at the KL International Airport or Penang.
You love the Thaiger. Now subscribe to our new YouTube lifestyle channel, Bounce.
Thailand's food, travel, challenges, and just about anything that isn't news. Only on Bounce. Link in the description below.
As predicted, North Korea did fire a missile this week, actually early today. The test was originally thought to be as early as last Monday, but now an unknown projectile failed immediately after its launch outside Pyongyang. This information from South Korea's military after Japanese media reported the suspected missile launched by the nuclear-armed North. The remote airfield has been the site of recent launches, including 2 which the US and South Korea claimed were tests of a new intercontinental ballistic missile. But North Korea maintains those tests were for developing a new reconnaissance satellite. North Korea has been launching missiles at an accelerated frequency this year, conducting its 9th weapons test on March the 5th before this morning's failed launch. The suicide trend among women in Japan during the COVID pandemic has escalated, with over 7,000 women taking their lives last year. 7,068 women committed suicide in Japan in 2021, the second consecutive year that the number of women's suicide cases has increased. But the overall number of suicides in Japan saw a slight decrease by 74. Overall, 21,007 people ended their lives in Japan in 2021. That's 838 higher than the number of suicides recorded in 2019. The Japanese Health Ministry believes that reasons for women's suicides included family problems, such as marital discord and pessimism about their family's future. Suicides among younger Japanese were not significantly higher in 2021 compared to the pre-COVID 2019. South Korea reported a whopping record 400,741 new daily COVID infections yesterday and 328 today as the country looks to further ease social distancing rules despite the surge of Omicron infections. Yesterday was also South Korea's deadliest day of the pandemic, with 293 COVID-related deaths reported. Officials say the current strain on the country's hospital system is expected to increase in coming weeks, considering the time lags between the new infections, hospitalisations and deaths. Senior Health Ministry's Park Hyung says that because of the country's high vaccination rates, they've been able to weather the Omicron surge with lower levels of fatalities than what they've seen in both the US and Europe, which were hit by the variant back in January and early February. More than 62% of South Koreans have received booster shots. And K-pop supergroup BTS, the world's most popular band at this time, will be taking the stage for the Grammy Awards for the third consecutive year on April the 3rd. BTS performed jointly with Lil Nas X at the 62nd Grammy Awards in 2020 and then hit the stage with their mega hit Dynamite in March last year. The 7-member group has been nominated in just one category this year, Best Pop Duo or Group Performance. BTS has broken through the bamboo ceiling in the US pop charts, spending the most number of weeks at the top of the Billboard singles chart in 2021 with 3 #1 songs. BTS are also the first Asian band to win the Most Popular Artist Award at this year's American Music Awards. Well, that's all the main stories from around Asia today. Because it's YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click that like button. Hopefully you enjoy the broadcast. We do this 5 days a week and mostly focus our attention on the Northern Asian and Southeast Asian areas. And then we're calling it Asia News Today. And we'll have another new Asia News Today tomorrow.